It's Sunday in the Middle East, and 22 U.S. embassies and consulates are closed due to terror threats linked to al-Qaeda. This as the State Department issues a worldwide travel alert for American citizens. U.S. officials specifically point to Yemen as their main area of concern. The Brits have also closed their embassy in Yemen. More on the al-Qaeda threat in a moment, but first to my open. When I was in grammar school, we did paper cutouts all the time. Pumpkins, Christmas trees. My favorites were angels. Most of you out there probably did the same, even the president. I'll bet Barack Obama's favorite cutout was a tiger. A paper tiger. And they say life doesn't mimic art. Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. There was a time when the United States was both respected and feared. Today, however, in the eyes of the world, we are neither respected nor feared. And it's Obama's feckless foreign policy that's diminished our stature on the world stage. That policy mimics a paper tiger, seemingly dangerous, but in truth, timid and weak. Every time there's an issue, we roar and then turn tail and run. But his roars sound really serious. Take a listen.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
Yeah, right. Like when you said there would be consequences if Iran crossed your red line with nuclear enrichment. When you said there would be consequences if Syria crossed your red line with chemical weapons. Mr. President, is your eyesight okay? Having trouble seeing those red lines? Hey, maybe you should see your Obamacare doctor. Or did you opt out too? But I want to believe you when you sound really serious, like after Benghazi.
We will not waver in our commitment to see that justice is done for this terrible act, and make no mistake, justice will be done. There should be no doubt that we will be relentless in tracking down the killers and bringing them to justice.
Hunt them down? Who'd you send? This guy?
Ooh, I'll get that fur-bearing critter, even if I has to chase him through every state in the Union.
You better hurry, Sam, if you want to catch me. I got my running pants on.
You send the FBI to hunt down those responsible for the murder of 4 innocent Americans in Benghazi, except they don't even show up for 3 weeks. Let me clue you in on a little something. Law Enforcement 101. You secure the crime scene immediately, before it's contaminated, before it's destroyed, before evidence is removed. Don't they teach that at Quantico? Everybody and his mother trampled that Benghazi crime scene. Reporters, locals, tourists. They got there, but it wasn't safe for the FBI to go for 3 weeks? Don't those guys have guns and military backup? Or did we give all that away too? Or maybe they were waiting for the same backup that Benghazi victims Ty Woods and Glenn Doherty hoped to get on that rooftop, but never came. The biggest joke is that those identified by the FBI as responsible for the Benghazi attack are flitting around that city, giving interviews in flip-flops, drinking strawberry daiquiris, and hanging out in hotel coffee shops. And it gets even better. Prime suspect Ahmed Abu Khatala thumbs his nose at the United States and your crack Federal Bureau of Investigation, saying, if the FBI wants to talk to me, they know where to find me. But then again, it was to that very FBI that Russia reported that Boston bomber Tamerlan Tsarnaev was a follower of radical Islam and was preparing to leave the United States to join a terrorist group in Russia. You know, the guy posting those jihadist videos, who left the United States to go back to the very country from which he sought political asylum, just like Russia warned us? This crack federal agency, however, determined that the Boston bomber was really not a danger to Americans. But hey, good news for the Bureau. Yesterday, law enforcement officials reported there was little the FBI could have done to prevent the Boston bombing. And guess who cleared the FBI? You guessed it, the FBI. Now, I've heard the saying, physician, heal thyself, but never, FBI, investigate thyself. The FBI even says it's unclear whether Homeland Security even told them that the bomber had returned to the U.S. from Chechnya, saying there was no formal way to notify FBI agents of that. No formal way? How about an informal one, like a gosh darn phone call? But the poor FBI. The Boston bombing is really not their fault. They say they couldn't use surveillance tools like listening in on phone calls for this type of investigation. I have an idea. Why not just call the NSA and have them do the listening? Oh, I forgot. The FBI doesn't talk to other agencies. Isn't that why we didn't know about 9/11? The FBI and the CIA weren't talking to each other? But things are different now, right? Wrong. They wouldn't even tell us in New York City that the Boston bomber's next target was Times Square. We had to hear it from the Boston Police Department. So, Mr. President, when you talked about the most transparent administration in history, I guess you really meant that most transparent would be our phone calls and our records. Terrorists, of course, excluded. And this week, 22 embassies and consulates closed because of an al-Qaeda threat. Wait a minute. Here we go again. You say one thing, but you do another. Didn't you tell us a few months back in 2012 that al-Qaeda was on the run and on its heels? Hey, if you can complain about phony scandals, I should be able to complain about your phony accomplishments. So who's on the run now? It looks like the United States. Our government can't protect us, so we have to leave Muslim countries, which is exactly what they wanted in the first place. So in the end, is the United States a paper tiger? To me, the proof is in the Putin. You heard me right, in the Putin. Real scary guy, huh? Putin is so afraid of us that this week he permits traitor Edward Snowden to remain in Russia despite 5 weeks of desperate negotiations by the United States to prevent it. Do you believe it? The President of the United States bitch-slapped by Putin?
Fine. Oh, my neck! How's it feel now? All right. That's good. Come on.
The most powerful man in the world, pushed around by the Russian president, who pals around with China, Iran, and Syria. But then again, why not? There are no consequences to our enemies, to those who have vowed to harm and kill Americans. There are no penalties. We still send them millions and F-16s and armored tanks, and we move red lines all the time to accommodate them. And we even stand down when our own people are killed. Just like in grammar school, when I was done using my paper cutouts, I just threw them away. We all know how it ends for the paper tiger. And coming up, 22 of our embassies are currently closed under threat of an attack. Tomorrow is the president's birthday. Is there a connection? And vote in tonight's Instapoll. Has Obama's foreign policy made us safer? Facebook or tweet me at Judge Jeanine. We'll read your answers later in the show.